The simplest way to lose weight as a woman over 50. My guess is that you are here because you are struggling with your weight, despite knowing what to do in terms of your diet, knowing that you need to do some sort of exercise, knowing that you need to be pretty consistent. You're still finding it a real challenge. So in this video, I'm going to be sharing with you 3 environmental things that you're possibly not even aware of that are sabotaging you from not only getting started, but actually sabotaging you from when you do get started to remaining consistent. So let's dive into what those 3 things are right now.
I'm 50 years old. I had tried probably just about all the diets out there.
So I've got on screen here 3 things that I know will sabotage you unless you become aware of them when it comes to weight loss in terms of your environment. Before I dive into them though, I want to sort of share with you an idea just to sort of get you to start thinking in the way I need you to think to be able to accept what I'm about to share with you. Let's just imagine for a second that you were born in Japan. Now I'm assuming you're not Japanese, you could be, but let's just assume you're not. Let's say you were born in Japan and your parents only spoke Japanese, you lived in a village that only spoke Japanese. What language do you think you would speak? Now kind of bear with me on this, we're going somewhere with this. What language do you think you'd actually speak growing up as a child? The answer is you're probably going to speak Japanese. Why? Because your environment dictates in order for you to communicate and get on in that environment, you'd need to learn how to speak Japanese, all things being equal. But then what if at the age of 10 you then move from Japan and you move to a village in England, let's say Wiltshire where I live, and you live near Stonehenge, and let's say you live with an English family now, so you change your families and you live with a family that only speaks English, you live in a village where they only speak English. Do you think it would be possible for you to learn how to speak English despite the fact at the moment you only speak Japanese? Answer is yes, of course you would. Why? Because you've changed your environment. Now it might be a challenge because you've spoken Japanese for 10 years, you've probably written in Japanese, you've thought in Japanese, you've dreamt in Japanese, but now suddenly you're changing the environment. Yes, you would be able to speak English, and many people do this. This is the power of your environment, and unless you become aware of your environment, I guarantee you are going to struggle with weight loss. So let's dive into what these 3 things are that I've got written down here. I'm going to go in order of importance in my opinion, but you may differ in terms of what you think is most important. But the number 1 environmental factor that's either going to help you or sabotage you when it comes to losing weight as a woman over 50 is your family, your friends and your work colleagues. What do I mean by that? Well, let's just take, for example, your friends. Let's say you're out for a social event and you've gone out to a restaurant and you've ordered the menu and you're having whatever, and wine's on offer, and you say, oh no thanks, no wine for me, thank you, I'm trying to lose some weight. Now how do you think that's going to be received by your friends? And let's say you're out with the girlfriends, how do you think that's going to be received? Well, some will say good on you, maybe 1 or 2. Many will say, oh, don't be such a bore. Or some may say, oh, you don't need to lose any weight, you're absolutely fine the way you are. That's the kind of response that you're normally met with. Funnily enough, if you said you're not drinking because you were driving, everybody would accept that. But the fact you're trying to lose some weight to improve yourself, suddenly that's met with some resistance. Now, the resistance that is met with, that will affect you internally unless you are prepared to actually deal with that resistance. And most women that I've worked with in the past have said to me they find it incredibly difficult to actually change their behaviors, especially when they announce the fact they're doing it because they want to lose weight, which is often why I say to my clients, don't tell anybody you're trying to lose weight. So that's the first environmental factor, family, friends and work colleagues. And you can be met with that sort of resistance in all those 3 domains where you spend pretty much the majority of your time. Unless you have strategies to deal with it, you're going to come unstuck. The second one is your physical environment. And what do I mean by your physical environment? Well, again, it's going to be your work, it's going to be socializing, it's going to be at home. Let's deal specifically with your home environment. In other words, what lives in your kitchen, what lives in your fridge, what lives in your freezer, what lives in the cupboards. And if you've got crap food in there that you know if you eat it in abundance is going to sabotage you, if it's there, you are going to eat it. Now, you may be saying, well, hang on, Eric, I hear what you're saying, but my husband, my son, my daughters, they like some of this crap food that's in the cupboards, so I've got to buy it in for them. And I completely get what you're saying. I understand that. I've had a lot of clients say that to me in the past. And you've either got to do 1 or 2 things. You've got to A, put it out of sight as best possible so you don't see it, because when you see it, that can trigger you. Or you have a conversation with the family members who are eating that sort of food and see whether or not you can either A, get rid of it completely or exchange it for something a little bit more healthy. Because again, this is about your physical environment, and unless you make the changes when the pressure's on, when you're feeling a bit stressed, when you're feeling a bit tired, when you're feeling a bit lonely, when you're feeling a bit bored, guess what you're going to do? You're going to be triggered and you're going to be going for eating that food, because what we often do when we're feeling like that is we try and feed our emotions, and we can't do that. We eat our feelings basically. And if you want to find out, just before going to number 3, about where you stand, where you are currently in terms of your weight loss, I have put together a free Boost weight loss assessment. There's a link below this video. Click on it, take you to a page. You answer a few simple questions, takes no more than 3 minutes, and you get back a full personalized report that will help you to kickstart your mindset, your diet, and your exercise. That's a link below this video. Okay, so the third thing that's going to sabotage you in terms of your environment and your ability to lose weight as a woman over 50 is your mental environment. What do I mean by that? Well, I'm talking about your beliefs. What do you believe is possible for you as an individual? Do you believe it's possible to actually lose the 20, 30, 50 pounds that you're possibly carrying right now? Do you value taking the necessary steps to have your health improved? Do you see it as a real valuable thing that you should achieve? And do you have a high level of motivation to succeed? Because unless you have those things in place, in particular the motivation, then you've got no reason to take the steps that a coach like me may be prescribing for you to take. And this is why I think, thinking about those 3 environmental factors, this is why I think most people can benefit from some external accountability, whether that's a friend, a family member, or somebody like me that you would pay to help you with going through a weight loss journey, but also giving you some type of accountability. Because what tends to happen is, because these are very much things going on in your head, we can often try and figure things out using old belief systems, old value systems, old habits can come back into play, and we find ourselves self-sabotaging without even realizing it. It's not until somebody else who is working with you can sort of take a step back and then give you the information and remind you and point out to you and help you change your perspective on things so that you can get the start you need, you can be consistent, and you can get the results you want. So if that's something you're interested in, definitely check out the links in the description where you can book in for a free call with me if that's something you'd like to do. Until next time, take very good care, and bye for now.